is that person important enough for me to give them that much power over my life? Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. How are we? Today we're doing a mukbang. I don't know. If you don't know what a mukbang is, it's where basically you eat and chat on camera. So that's what we're doing. We're going to be talking all things self-confidence, self-love, and how to not give a fuck. So if you're interested in today's video, if you're excited to see what I'm going to talk about, the topics I'm going to cover, keep on watching. You know what I always talk about mukbangs, especially McDonald's ones, was how do people keep the food warm? But basically I just asked my dad to bring me back at McDonald's, and he did. He came through. So yeah, I got a large nugget meal, and I thought, what better time to do a mukbang than right now. I've wanted to do a mukbang for ages, and I wanted to film a video on kind of self-love, confidence, how to not give a fuck. What better time to film that kind of video than when I'm eating at McDonald's? So that was my thought process, like, in case you cared. I haven't had McDonald's in so long. I got the sweet and sour dip for my chicken nuggets. It's not a thing worldwide, because I've had McDonald's in many countries because I'm very cultured, and when I'm not in Ireland, you know, I like to taste the local cuisine, the local McDonald's. But I don't think sweet and sour sauce for nuggets is a worldwide thing. Which is sad, because honestly, you're missing out. I don't know how people talk and eat at the same time. I mean, this is just a level of not giving a fuck, isn't it? I'm like, eating my McDonald's, like, not giving a fuck. The first thing we're gonna talk about today, boys and girls, is confidence. And there is a difference between confidence and arrogance. I feel like confidence is knowing who you are and not being afraid to be who you are, and not apologizing for being who you are. But you're not hurting anyone in being who you are, and you're not disrespecting anyone in being who you are. Because I feel like when you're arrogant, you don't take into consideration like other people or other people's feelings, or just other people in general. Whereas like confidence is like, it's like when you know who you are and you're comfortable with who you are, and you are not going to change who you are for someone else, you know. And a big thing, like especially in today's world, like social media, Instagram's a big one. People don't have confidence, and people rely on other people's validation to make them feel confident, even though that in itself isn't a confident thing to do. Does that make sense? I think a big thing is how to be confident is like what people want to know the most. They're like, how are you confident? How do you not care? How are you confident in yourself? And I think a big way to be confident in yourself is to be secure in yourself, and to love yourself, and to spend time with yourself, and to really know yourself, your goals, your values. And when you know yourself and your goals and your values, you're going to be automatically confident. I think a big thing when it comes to confidence is actually self-love and like self-assurance, and knowing who you are, knowing what you want, and knowing who matters and who doesn't. Like, I never live my life trying to please people that don't matter and that don't affect my daily life. Like, James Smith actually had it on his story today, and he was saying, I think it was like about worrying about other people's opinions that don't affect you. So he was saying, like, in relation to him, because he's a personal trainer, he said a lot of personal trainers care so much about what other personal trainers think, but realistically other personal trainers are never going to be their clients. Does that make sense? The only people you should care about pleasing, and you shouldn't even worry about pleasing these people, you should just worry about being kind to them, and if you want them in your life and whatever, is your family and your close friends. That's it. That is it. Honestly, like, if there's a random girl at work who doesn't like you, who cares? If there's a random boy who you heard was saying mean things about you, who cares? If there was a girl who you're not even friends with bitching about you, who cares? Like, at the end of the day, who's happier? You, who don't care about other people's opinions, or the person filling up their day talking about you, or having an opinion about you, or sharing your Instagram post in their WhatsApp group chat? Like, come on, come on. I think 2019 for me was really a year where I realized that, like, I don't have time to give a fuck about anyone's business but my own. And that's the tea. Like, I don't have time and the mental energy to try and be caring about who's doing what and why someone's doing something and why I'm not doing what they're doing and blah 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 blah. Like, it's too much. It is too much. And it takes a lot out of you mentally. And, like, I think a lot of self-confidence issues in people stem from people in their life projecting their issues onto them, insecurity, or comparison. Like, comparison really is the thief of joy. Comparing yourself and your life to someone else's life is the most wasteful, couldn't think of a word there, wasteful thing you can do. Why are you comparing when, like, why would you compare what you're doing to what someone else is doing? You don't know what's going on in someone else's life. You don't know their struggle. You don't know the backstory. You don't know. I'll just give you a quick example, right? You're scrolling through your Instagram feed. You see a girl who, or a guy, or someone who's on their 10th holiday this year, and you're like, oh my god, they go on so many holidays. I wish I could go on so many holidays, blah blah blah, whatever you think. They could be putting themselves in debt to go on those holidays. They could be trying to escape from some really shitty family life and going on those holidays. You don't know. So why would you compare yourself to someone's situation that you're not even, no one knows what's going on behind closed doors. No one knows 100% of everything. So why would you compare yourself to 80% of something, or 70% of something, or 50% of something, or 5% of something? Like, when you think about it, really, it doesn't make sense. And, like, there's a lot of misconceptions when it comes to confidence, and I think a lot of people talk themselves into not being confident. Like, I think a lot of people you have to really listen to the way you speak to yourself in your mind, and you have to realize, if you're constantly putting yourself down, if you're constantly saying, oh, I could never do that, how does she do that, I could never do that, I'd be so shamed, I'd be shamed if I'd be shamed, or shamed was such a big phrase when I was growing up. Like, oh my god, I'd be so ashamed if I did that. Like, it was, and I only think about this now, it was such a big phrase. And I think if you talk to yourself in a positive way, and in a way where it's like, no, I do want to do this. It is high on my priority list and I do want to make this happen. I can make this happen. Then you'll find that the confidence side of it, it just comes because you're like, well, I want to do this, so I have to be confident doing it. And sometimes when it comes to confidence, you really do have to like fake it till you make it, and not like fake confidence, but just talk to yourself and be like, no, I am confident, I can do this, I know this is right, blah blah blah, and you will feel more confident. Do you think I feel confident in like a public space whipping out my camera and talking to my phone? Absolutely not. Like within 3 seconds people are staring. I walked to town today in really bright gym leggings because all my black ones are in the wash and people were staring. Not to mind talking to myself on a camera, but like people are always going to look, and people look because it's different. People aren't staring at you thinking the worst of you. And I think once you realize, I'm reading a book, I've read a book but I'm rereading it, and in the book it says, like, say when you assume something, so say for example you put up a story on Instagram and you find out that 10 people shared that story, right? You could automatically think, oh my god, what are they saying about me? Oh my god, I'm so embarrassed. Oh my god, they're definitely saying bad things, they're definitely mocking me. Whereas realistically, you don't know for 100% fact that that is true. So why are you stressing yourself out about something when you don't know is it 100% true? I think assumption and assuming things when it comes to confidence is a killer. So when we're wired to automatically assume the worst. A lot of us automatically assume the worst, and you actually have to like rewire your brain to think positively in situations, and you have to rewire your brain not to have automatic negative thoughts. And when you do have automatic negative thoughts, that you just let them pass, that you don't dwell on them, and that you don't like let them get in the way of who you are and who you want to be. Because at the end of the day, it's all about, I'm not living your life, you are not living my life. When I'm on my deathbed, when I'm like 97, who's going to be there? Me. I don't know, maybe children, maybe my dog, you know, husband, who knows? But it's ultimately going to be me. And you have to think, what can I do that's going to make me happy and me fulfilled in life? And when you think about that, and when you know what you want from life, and when you know who you are, then everything else is secondary. So caring what people think is secondary. Everything else becomes secondary when you know what you want, why you want it. At least in my opinion, anyway. Do me a favor. Think about why you give a fuck, right? Sit back, go on. I'm gonna be quiet now. Think about a situation, whatever situation comes to mind when I say not giving a fuck, and think about why you give a fuck for just 1 second. Have you thought about why you give a fuck? And now can you realize that's a stupid reason to give a fuck? Or could you even give yourself a reason? Oh, because I don't know what they'll think about me. And why do you give a fuck about what they think about you? What is that going to do? You know, someone thinking a bad thought about you, is that going to give you bad health? It's actually a very good thing to do. So say if you want to do something, or you're apprehensive about doing something, or wearing something, or styling your hair a certain way, dyeing your hair a different color, making friends with someone, I don't know what you'd be giving a fuck about. But when you sit back and you think to yourself, why do I give a fuck? Why do I give a fuck about XYZ? Why do I care what they think? Why am I giving other people the power of my life decisions and where my life is going? And it really is that simple. When you ask yourself those questions right there, don't tell me you didn't feel stupid. Don't tell me you didn't feel like, I don't know. Because at the end of the day, whoever's happy is winning. Happiness is the key. And if you're doing something that makes you happy, then who cares what anyone else thinks? As long as you're not physically hurting someone or emotionally hurting someone, do what is happy. Or no, do what makes you happy. Do what is happy doesn't make sense. Confidence is really something that you have to work on, and I'm not saying I just woke up one day and was like, hey, I'm confident queen. What was that? I don't even know. But like, no one, I think confidence is definitely something that is learned and that is worked on, and that is like a constant work in progress. Like, and I think one of the reasons I'm so confident, right, because I'm very confident and I have no problem saying that, is when I was younger, when I was in my teens, I had full-blown acne, glasses when they weren't cool, braces, and I was more on the overweight side. So, I mean, I had everything mashed up into one that is like bad for a teenager, say. So when you have all that rolled up into one, you don't give a fuck. Like, it can make you self-confident or it can make you self-conscious, but it can also give you a really thick skin and a really big I don't give a fuck attitude. So I think, to be honest, that like it was a big factor for me. Like, I grew up hearing people make comments about my hair or my skin or my weight or my glasses or my braces. So when you grow up hearing confidence or compliments, no, not compliments, when you grow up hearing comments, and when you grow up thinking of yourself in a certain way and thinking that you fit a certain box, and then when you grow out of those things, like, I don't have strong acne anymore. I grew into my face. I don't have as big of a baby face anymore. I don't have the braces, and glasses are cool now, so if I want to wear glasses, it's fine. I think it just gives you a level of confidence and a level of, well, if they didn't like me then, I don't care if they like me now, and I don't care. I don't do anything to please anyone, and I can't fathom doing, I'm very strong. See, I think it's as well the way you're brought up and like the people who are around you, but also how you educate yourself and the books you read. Like, I'm so big into reading, and I've read so many books that, you know, it really grounds you and it really makes you think, okay, there's so many things bigger than me and my problems and what someone else thinks of me, that like I don't care. And I think it's very important to like watch TED Talks, there's so many YouTube videos on like confidence, and I'll link someone down below. Her name's Brini. I think her videos are brilliant, and I think it's all about like self-education, self-love, being with yourself, understanding who you are, not spending 2 hours alone and feeling bored, not spending time alone and feeling lonely, spending time alone and being like, I got this. Like, me and you are besties, as in you and yourself, if you get me. And I think when you get all those things down, you become confident. And, you know, obviously sometimes we all have our moments of weakness, and different things can trigger people's confidence, I think. Like, things that might make me a little self-conscious might make you feel fine, or things that I'm totally confident about you mightn't be. But I think that if you're making big life decisions or any life decisions based on a fear that someone's going to judge you, or someone's going to talk about you, or someone's going to discuss you, or someone's going to think a certain way about you, then you really, really have to take a step back and reevaluate, is that person important enough for me to give them that much power over my life? Like, are they that important that they have so much power over my life decisions? Over what photo I post, over what Instagram story I post, over what career I do, over what way I choose to dress, over what way I choose to do my hair, over who I choose to love. You know, the list goes on and on and on. Are the people that you're letting decide for you important enough? Do they matter? You know, do they matter? Do they have your best interest at heart? You know, there's so many things, and I think you really have to, like, confidence isn't like, this isn't like a light-hearted chat. Like, I'm trying to make it as light-hearted as possible, but like, it gets deep, and it gets, like, everyone has low self-confidence days, and everyone has days where they compare themselves or anything like that. But I think it's really important to just, you know who you are and be confident in whatever it is you are. Whatever it is you want to do, whatever decision you want to make, be confident in it. And when you're confident, it's actually infectious. Like, if you say something confidently enough, sometimes people will believe it, and I'm not even messing. So like, does that make sense? What I want you to do now, whoever you are watching this video, man, woman, person, write down a list of 3 things on your phone, in your notes, mentally, wherever you want to write it down. 3 things that you've been holding yourself back from doing for fear of what other people would think. And I want you to do one of them within the next week. Just one of them, right? No matter how big or how small, choose the biggest one, choose the smallest one. I just want you to actively try and do something that you have been putting off for fear of what other people would think. And when you do it, and when you realize that the world doesn't fall down when you make a selfish decision, a selfish, confident decision, when you realize the world doesn't fall down, you'll want to make more, and you'll want to put yourself first, and you'll want to, you know, be confident in whatever you're doing. It's literally infectious. Now, on to the self-love part, because obviously we've talked about confidence, and I've kind of thrown in a bit of self-love, but self-love, in my opinion, because all of this video is my opinion, I'm not saying anything here to be right, to be wrong, I'm saying it as my opinion. Self-love, in my opinion, isn't looking in the mirror and being like, oh my god, look at her, I have abs, I have a big bum, I have nice lips, I have blah blah blah. That's not self-love. At least not in my opinion. Self-love is sitting down with yourself and genuinely being happy with the person that you are, the person that you're trying to become, and the people that are in your life. And I think that, like, having people in your life who complement you and your life is a form of self-love. If you have someone toxic in your life and you cut them out, that's a form of self-love. If you are making better choices with food because you want to feel healthier, that's a form of self-love. If you decide you want to read a chapter of a book every day to grow your knowledge about the world or whatever the book's about, that's a form of self-love. If you decide, I want to do this because this makes me happy, that's a form of self-love. You know, self-love and self-care isn't like having a bath, but it can be having a bath. You know, if you decide, I'm gonna take an hour out of my day, not focus on what anyone else wants, and have a bath, that is self-love, okay? Don't let anyone tell you to define something for you that makes you feel like you're taking care of yourself and you're really loving yourself and making yourself a better human being. I really do think that self-love is like one of the most powerful things, and I think that when you realize that if you don't practice self-love and if you don't love yourself, it can lead you down a hole. It can lead you to, you know, sabotaging your life and others' lives. It can lead you to toxic behaviors. It can lead you to being aggressive with people. It can lead you to intentionally having negative and toxic people in your life. It can lead you to constantly looking for arguments with people. It can lead you to constantly looking for the bad in something, the bad in someone, the bad in life. And all of these things tie in to self-love. If you love yourself and you value yourself and you value your life, you're going to want the best life for you. You're going to want the best things for you. You're going to want people in your life that help you grow, and people in your life that support you. And you know, sometimes it's hard to realize that not everyone is going to give you what you give them. I think it comes back to like expectation. So I read a lot of Gary Vaynerchuk, and I take in a lot of his content. And one of the big things he says is, I don't have expectations. I don't put expectations on people, right? So say if I'm going for lunch with a friend, right? And the friend cancels. You have to work on not letting that phase you, because that's not about you, it's about them, right? You're putting an expectation on them that they're going to stick to their word and they're going to show up for lunch. If they don't, that's not about you, right? You don't take that personally. That's about them. That's about them not respecting your time. That's about them maybe having something going on in their life that you don't know about. That's about them not keeping their promises, not keeping plans, right? That has nothing got to do with you. So once you realize that, you say, right, that's their thing, they have to deal with that. But I am going to honor my commitments. I'm going to honor my plans. I'm going to make sure I don't, you know, disrespect someone else's time. That's what matters. And it goes the same with loads of things. Like if you expect a lot from people, and I know it can sound grim, like don't expect anything from anyone, but I'm not saying it in like a negative way. I'm saying like, if you have high expectations, the only person you should have really high expectations for is yourself. And you should try to meet those high expectations constantly. And when you hold yourself to a certain standard, then that's great. Someone won't be able to let you down because you won't have unrealistic expectations for them. Now, isn't that food for thought? Isn't that food for thought? But it's true, like, you know, sometimes we don't even hold ourselves to the expectations that we hold other people to. We expect so much from other people. And what do we expect from ourselves? What do we want from ourselves? What do we expect from ourselves? Really, really sit back and think about that. Do you hold yourself as accountable as you might hold other people sometimes? Whereas if you flip the switch and you say, no, I value this, I want this, and I expect this of myself. When someone else decides to do something, it won't affect you because you don't expect them to do anything. Everything is a bonus, right? Everything is a bonus, and you will attract people in your life who will subconsciously meet those expectations that you might have. But once you meet your own expectations always, I think that's the most important thing. To be honest, I don't think it's about other people meeting your expectations, because why are you holding someone to expectations? Why are you expecting things from other people? No one owes you anything. You owe yourself something, and that's what really matters. No one owes you anything. You owe yourself. And when you realize that you owe yourself the most, and when you focus on yourself the most, that's when you feel most rewarded. You shouldn't look for happiness in other people. You shouldn't look for reward in other people. You shouldn't count on other people to make you feel good. You should count on yourself to make you feel good. And you should work to try and make others feel good. But you shouldn't put yourself out to make others feel good. And you shouldn't put yourself out to meet other people's expectations. You have to meet your own expectations and your own goals. And that's a fact. And I just got very serious there. But I hope you realize what I'm saying. And I hope it strikes a chord with you to like really, you know, that's when you become confident, and that's when you love yourself, when you hold yourself high to expectations. And I'm not talking about unrealistic expectations and putting pressure on yourself. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I expect myself to be loyal. I'm going to give you a few of my expectations for myself right here, okay? I have to think of them now because this video is not scripted, not planned. So I'm literally flying by the seat of my something? Flying by the wind of my air of my seat? I don't know. So one of my expectations for myself is loyalty. I expect myself to be loyal. I expect myself to be loyal in my friendships, in my relationships, with my family. I am basically a puppy. But I am, and I expect myself to be loyal, and I hold myself to that expectation above everything else. If someone's not loyal to me, that's on them, but that won't affect whether or not I'm loyal to them. Does that make sense? Another expectation I hold myself to is, at the moment, your expectations can change depending on your life and your life flow. Another one I have at the moment is going to the gym, exercising. It makes me feel good. I'm enjoying it. It's like a sense of release for me. And when I go to the gym, I feel good. So it's my job to get to the gym. It's no one else's job to get to the gym. If I rearrange my day to suit someone else and then I don't get to the gym and then they cancel on me, that's my fault. That's not their fault. They didn't make me rearrange my day. I made the decision to rearrange my day. Does that make sense? Am I making sense here? You know, you really have to think about your expectations, what you want, your goals, what you hold yourself to, and then realize that you're the only one that's accountable for that, and you can't blame other people for things. You have to look at yourself, and you have to be happy with yourself, and you have to show yourself love like you'd love someone else. Sometimes we love other people more than we'd love ourselves. Sometimes in life we spend more time with other people than we do by ourselves with our own thoughts, and there is something really wrong with that. We should love ourselves the most before we even think about putting effort or energy into anyone else, and that is a fact, because you're only in your mind. As of now, mind reading is not a thing. No one else is in your mind, not that you know of. So you're the one who has to deal with that. You're the one who has to deal with your mind and your brain and your thoughts and your goals and your dreams and the way you talk to yourself. You're the only one who has to deal with that. So the sooner you learn that, and the sooner you learn to love yourself, the better your brain will do. And I really mean it about those 3 things. If you want to rewind back in the video, if you forget what I'm talking about, 3 things that you're afraid to do because of fear of what other people will think. I want you to start working on making one of them happen right now. And that's the truth. I'm not bullshitting you. I'm not saying this for like dramatic effect or like to seem like I'm talking to you, you know. I'm literally saying this to like make you better and to make your relationship with yourself better, because that's what confidence is at the end of the day. Confidence, self-love, they're tied into one. If you don't love yourself, how on earth can you be confident? If you're not confident, how do you love yourself? You know, they really do tie into one. Do you love yourself? Yes. Like confidence is so many different things, but it's self-confidence is the confidence that I was talking about today. The confidence in yourself. And when you have confidence in yourself, you will do what you want to do. You will do the things you want to achieve. Thanks for watching today's video, guys. It was a bit of a different one for me. It wasn't scripted. I didn't have a plan. I literally just let my brain flow onto the camera. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoy me, if you enjoy my vibe, subscribe down below. If you don't, that's no problem. Find someone else. If you don't enjoy my vibe, if you made it this far, you definitely enjoyed my vibe. Don't even lie to yourself. So subscribe down below, like the video, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Bye.